Before we get to the content, we like to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to Utah Jazz DNA. Smash that like button for your boy Darren.
That's right. All right. Well, hopefully that audio is a little bit better now. So, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Again, folks, if you're watching this live on Utah Jazz DNA or on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, jump into the chat. Let us know what your thoughts are. We're going to go ahead and jump into it here. Before we get into the subjects, let's go ahead and hit some of these comments right off the bat here.
Let's do it.
We got the first one coming from McKinley Cutler saying, loving all the Lakers drama. Definitely going to be talking about today. Apparently all the turnover and uncertainty at the top has frozen front office hiring. And with Walter's sale, they need to replace a lot of people. The more of the dumpster fire this becomes, the better it is for the Jazz. The Lakers picks are looking better and better the longer and messier this gets. Cannot agree with you more on that one. We've got another comment here saying here, and not Jazz thing, but the Walter situation is just looking worse and worse every day. Worse and worse by the day. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up selling the Dodgers by the end of the year. We'll definitely get into that when we talk some Major League Baseball for sure. Audio is coming in a little gray, a little quiet, and you're good now. Perfect. I like it. Thanks, McKinley.
Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, man. So let's go ahead and jump into our first topic of the day here, AJ. So, AJ, we've been speaking on this channel a lot lately about, especially on our Utes channel, about the strength of schedule, right?
Yeah,
something we talk about quite often, especially last week in our Big 12 Power Rankings. So check it out on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, also on Utah Jazz DNA. That just went live today, I believe.
Utah Football DNA.
Utah Football DNA. That's
yes.
Right. What did I say?
You said Utah Jazz DNA, which is where we're at now.
Oh, well, hey, it is what it is.
A lot of sub-channels, guys. Just select, subscribe to all of them.
Subscribe to whatever you want to listen to. That's why we're here. Anyway, so we've been talking about a lot based off of strength of schedule, who's got easier, et cetera, et cetera. Now with AJ, we're going to go ahead and do that with a little bit with the NBA. Yeah. And man, right out of the gates, this is something that is very, very interesting. The first thing I want to talk about on this one is going to be the other side of the coin. Okay, so let's discuss about that and how it shows up, how we got some favoritism in the league a little bit, and then we'll show some contrast there. So let's go ahead and start with the 76ers, right? It just shows to Goya that no matter what team LeBron is on, the NBA will go out of its way to make things easier for him. The 76ers don't face a Western Conference team going into until November 23rd when they play Portland. So there you go. The first whole month of the season, they do not face a team in the West. They do open up this season against the Knicks, who are the defending champions, followed by the Cavs. So a couple of tough, good appointments right out the gate there. But again, they also have to play them twice in that month. But again, they're not facing a team from the superior conference until the full first month of the season is over. They also, AJ, have the fewest back-to-backs in this season.
You don't say.
Out of every NBA team. They have the fewest back-to-backs. They also have tied for the least amount of 3 games in 4 nights. So, yeah, a little bit of favoritism there, for sure, from Adam Silver.
I think that's actually a lot of favoritism.
Yeah. So now let's go ahead and take a look at it the other way, AJ. Let's go ahead and break it off on how that's looking for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz has a decent schedule for the first month. Now they open the season on the road against the Grizzlies in Memphis. They'll be facing the Pels after that at home. Then the White Walkers at home as well. For those of you who don't know, that's the LA Lakers. Like that?
Yeah.
It's going to be a new thing. It's going to be a thing.
It's going to be a thing.
Then we play the Grizzlies at home again, and then we play the Spurs at home. Now, why am I bringing that up? Well, we play the Spurs again twice in the next 3 weeks, which means we play the Western Conference champions 3 times in the first month of the season. So let me ask you this, AJ. Does this sound like the Jazz are getting set for success here?
I mean,
or at least getting the same shake that the 76ers are getting.
They're definitely not getting a 76er shake. That's pretty obvious there, but the Jazz never are. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really matter how you go about it. The Jazz are never going to get a 76er shake or a LeBron James team shake anywhere.
True.
I do love that the Jazz get a couple of games against the Grizzlies and the Pelicans before the Lakers do come to town on October 25th. Though I'm really kind of curious to see how Jazz fans react to Walker Kessler. I'm assuming it'll be pretty positive. I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, I know between you and I don't think we have anything against Walker.
No.
You know, he kind of went and thought his services deserved top dollar, and then he went out and found a team willing to pay top dollar. You know, luckily we kind of had a front office that was, they tendered a deal to make sure that was beneficial to the Jazz as well. So
very true.
That was a good thing. But that first game against the Spurs on October 28th, that's the first real test. You know what I mean? That's when we find out what this team's made of. If they're really everything that we're dreaming, that game is going to tell a lot about this team. So it's really exciting. You know, obviously Victor Wembanyama is the real deal, and this Spurs team is really good. So I'm excited to see kind of how Coach Hardy, how he schemes against this, right? How he's going to get players involved, how the offense is going to look. You know, how do you get rebounds against a really good Spurs team that has Victor Wembanyama, who's going to gobble up a bunch of them? Luckily, it's going to be a home game, and you know, the Delta Center it'll be going. You know, there's no concerns there. So I think that matchup is going to tell a lot. And that's probably the one that I'm most excited for, you know, looking at the early schedule, because it's going to really tell us how this season could look.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you, man. When I first saw that, when it was first brought to my attention, again, appreciate a subscriber brought this subject up to us. Again, always let us know what you guys want to talk about, especially during the dog days of August when there's not a whole lot talking about the Jazz going on. So we definitely want to interact with you guys and actually talk about the subject you guys want to hear about. So thanks for bringing this one up. So on this one here, I have to agree with you, man. And while it does kind of, I mean, yeah, we were facing the best team in the West 3 times in the first month. Not ideal. But again, there's a whole bunch of other, you know, softball type teams out there that we're going to be facing as well. I mean, the Grizzlies are going to be good. You know, they're not going to be, you know, I don't see them being the bottom of the West team this year as far as the Grizzlies are concerned, but they're definitely not going to be better than Utah. The Lakers definitely not going to be better than Utah. They're facing a lot of teams I definitely think that the Jazz are going to be ahead of when it all is said and done in the conference. So, yeah, while overall it does kind of look interesting that we face them 3 times that soon, and again, twice within 2 weeks of each other. Yeah. You know, it is kind of interesting, and one on a difficult road trip too. So, but again, I don't necessarily think it's anything necessarily sliding, and I don't think it's really going to hurt Utah's chances of coming out of the gate strong.
Yeah, and I like it because I'm all for some must-see basketball early in the season. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to know that you have a team that's going to be, you're going to be playing against a team that's going to be playing or could be playing for it all, and you get to see how we stack up to that. And you know, the schedule's not crazy tough. Like,
no,
there is some tough games in there, but that's just the NBA, you know. And I don't know. I think it'll be really good for the Jazz. I'm so excited. Like when you start seeing some of the schedule releases and stuff coming out, it's like, okay, Jazz basketball's almost back, man. You know, we're just a couple months away. So
yeah, and another good thing is that the Utah Jazz are not in the top 5 of teams that are dealing with back-to-backs, or in the top 5 of teams that are dealing with 3 games in 4 nights. So.
Which is a nice change, because the Jazz have got the short end of the stick on a lot of those for the last few years. And I think that's, it's funny because they say they don't treat any teams differently, but when you know that the Jazz are tanking, you don't got any issues. You know what I mean? They're going to be rotating through lineups and playing younger guys, and it's just not as big of a deal. So hopefully some of that does kind of come into play, knowing that we have guys that, you know, we have star power on our team, and it deserves to be scheduled out like star power. So
for sure.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about it.
100% agree on that one. Speaking of teams that are, you know, vying for the playoffs but probably aren't going to make it this year, not saying our Jazz are them, but you know, we're definitely playing a lot of those teams that aren't going to be playoff contenders this year. Let's go ahead and talk about another team that's not technically going to be a playoff team this year, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the next thing we kind of wanted to talk about is the NBA's longest running investigation, and it's into the LA Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. So it kind of took a major turn. ESPN reported that the NBA has found no evidence that Clippers owner Steve Ballmer secretly funneled money to Leonard through team sponsors to get around the salary cap. So the investigation kind of shifted to whether the Clippers broke league rules, you know, by connecting Leonard with companies, or, you know, like what actually happened. So the story just kind of keeps going back to us, man. So, I mean, what are your thoughts, and how do you think this kind of affects the Utah Jazz?
Well, first of all, it does mean that the big markets don't have to play the same game or get the same rules that we do.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, because let's go back to the year 2000. The NBA did strip the T-Wolves of 5 of their first-round draft picks, as well as fining them $3.5 million when they did something similar with Joe Smith, underpaying him and promising a bigger future payday to help circumvent some of the salary cap rules. This isn't paying somebody under the table. This is like, hush, hush, don't worry, we'll get you on your next contract.
Yeah.
That got fined $3.5 million in the year 2000, which would be closer to, what, 6-7 million this right around now?
Easily.
And, yeah, 5 first-round draft picks. That's not a slap on the wrist, dude. That is big-time penalties.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that Clippers are saying, and I quote this, the fact that the player has an endorsement relationship with a company that also does business with the team is not evidence of salary cap circumvention. Okay, that's a quote directly from the Clippers organization.
Yes.
Okay,
I know exactly where you're going with this too.
Okay. In 2015, AJ, the Clippers were fined $250,000 for violating the anti-circumvention rules when they presented DeAndre Jordan with an unauthorized third-party endorsement deal during his free agency. So, yeah, man, I got to say, okay. For me, it just kind of definitely says that the richest owners in the NBA get to play by different rules, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later when it comes to Mark Walters and how that worked out. But yeah, these rich teams and these rich markets definitely get to play by different rules when it comes to these kind of things, when they get in trouble for something. And this is kind of what I want to get into. The NBA and ESPN, obviously the NBA has ESPN in their back pocket. They had their talking heads, come at the Utah Jazz for tanking, calling it an embarrassment to the league. Not all teams that are tanking were treated as egregiously as the Utah Jazz were.
Not at all.
And they did this for both seasons, both prior and after, coming into this year. Now you have everything you need, with the exception of a signed confession from the owner of the Clippers themselves, that there were endorsements made to get him to get around the salary cap. But it was the Utah Jazz that were the team that was embarrassing the league for 2 years. It was the Utah Jazz that caused the league to change the rules in the draft. The league, in my opinion, owes the Utah Jazz an apology for pointing the finger at them for all the years that they were allowed to do what was within the rules. And the Clippers are now getting away with it and having nothing more than a slap on the wrist. To me, AJ, it is just shameful.
Oh, it is. It is. To add to the next layer, did you see that the NBA is actually disputing the ESPN report?
Yes. Yeah, I heard this.
Yeah, so the league released a statement saying that ESPN's article regarding the LA Clippers investigation, for which the NBA declined to cooperate, contains numerous and significant inaccuracies, and went on to say that the results in this matter will be made clear once the investigation is concluded.
Yeah, I love how they didn't mention anything specific.
No.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
No. What you did is the NBA leaked it through ESPN saying, hey, we want you to say this because we want to see what the backlash is going to be. Because if we just let him walk and say, hey, there's no evidence, just him having an endorsement deal with the same company that we have an endorsement deal with is not a violation, when it clearly was, because it happened to that exact team 10 years ago, right? So to me, that's telling you, like, okay, let's see if they're going to let us walk on this. Let's see what the public perception, the court of public opinion is going to let us do here. And then by now they're releasing that saying, oh, no, wait. I think they're just giving themselves a chance to pull that back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They were checking the temperature on it for sure.
Yeah. And we're going to see what happens. It's probably going to be a slap on the wrist. It's not going to be 5 first-round draft picks, and it's not going to be a fine of $3.5 million. It's not going to be anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
No one's going to get suspended like they did for the Timberwolves.
No, not even close. It won't even be anywhere near that, dude. Matter of fact, what they're going to do is they're going to try, as hard as they can for the next 4 or 5 months to just keep this out of the press, and then they'll release a one-liner saying what the Clippers' punishment is.
Yeah, and somebody will be suspended in the front office saying that they didn't properly communicate it with Steve Ballmer.
So the Kawhi Leonard trade is still technically on the books. They can't reverse it because they haven't released, the NBA hasn't released the findings on it. So he could still potentially be traded to Toronto.
Yeah. Well, it can't yet because Toronto's like, no, we're not doing this until we know what's going on.
Yeah, they're not signing any agreement because the NBA was saying, hey, Toronto, you need to sign this paper saying you agree to the trade regardless of what happens with Kawhi, because if he ends up getting, suspended or something from the league, you got to be okay with whatever happens that the Clippers did.
Right. And they're like, no, we're not.
They're like, yeah, no, we're not going to agree to that
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely
But,
not.
we do want to see what happens before we finalize anything.
Yeah. Which I don't know. To me, it just all seems super shady.
It doesn't just seem, buddy. It is super shady.
Yeah. I don't understand how this is happening why the Utah Jazz are just playing by the rules that everybody else did. The 76ers did it for over a decade. Remember the process, trust the process, and the franchise, and the whole thing, and and then when the Jazz do it, it's a problem. It's a little irritating that something like this is going to come down to basically a slap on the wrist because we don't want the richest owner in the NBA dealing with this, and then he's gonna be able to walk his way back from it. I don't know. I don't like it. It's dirty. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us as a small market team, but in the same context, there, I just think it's just wrong to point your finger at the Jazz for doing what they're doing and then let this kind of just all slide.
Especially after so many teams have done it for so long, dude.
Yeah, all this is going to do, dude, is I don't care who they sign. Pay them underneath the table. Get the sweet guys in here and have them do a non-compete. Get the cookie guy in here and do a non-show-up sponsorship of some kind.
But the part that made it worse is this company that Kawhi Leonard was getting this endorsement from did no promotional. Like they had no advertising budget, and now they're bankrupt.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Like Steve Ballmer paid that company $25 million as an investment into that company.
Yeah.
Knowing they were going to pay Kawhi Leonard $20 million on the table for the endorsement deal.
Yep, exactly.
And it was a non-commitment endorsement deal, so a no-show deal. So he wasn't going to do any promotion.
Yeah.
How hard is it to have somebody come out and take a couple of screenshots while he's on the court warming up and put that on your own commercial? Boom, done.
Yeah.
It's not really that hard. They had some celebrity endorsements like Leonardo DiCaprio and some other stuff that did do some promotions for this company, and they just didn't do anything with it. It would have been so easy just to do that. And then also that the scoreboard, the Deco company, that was another one that was a no show up sponsorship thing that they did with them too. It's just funny. They offered this to Uncle Dennis offered this to the Raptors, the Lakers, and the Clippers. The Raptors and the Lakers are like, no, that's breaking the rules, man. We're not going to do that. The Clippers are like, we'll do it.
That's against the rules.
Yeah. All this for no championships, and they didn't even make it to the conference finals once. So that's, I think, punishment in itself. So,
it definitely is.
Fair enough.
They paid all that money for nothing.
Exactly. Let's go through some of the comments here. We got a comment from McKinley saying, I don't mind the schedule. We get some cupcake games too. Absolutely we do. We have another comment here. Start out to get the ramp up. Sorry, can you read that?
Start out and then get to ramp up, and then we get to see how we compare to the best in the West.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. So we don't have as many back-to-backs, but apparently, according to Ben Anderson, they have way more plane rides and travel days than most teams. Yeah, that's kind of like a trade-off there, right, of a back-to-back. You're going to have more
Yeah, and I think
days.
you're okay with that, though.
Yeah, it's not like they're flying coach,
Yeah.
These are all chartered flights.
Yeah, it's not like they're sitting in the back of a Delta 737 flight. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
They're gonna be okay.
Yep. After the tanking, fine. No way the Jazz would get away with what the Clippers are doing. Absolutely not.
Not a chance.
Absolutely not. The problem is fighting the Clippers does nothing. The only way you can punish Ballmer is taking away draft picks and banning him from the arena for a season or two.
That would do it, though, especially after you just spent like $400 bazillion to renovate it.
Yeah, and then you made the trade to get all your draft picks back, just to have them be forfeited. Yeah, that would definitely be.
They're like, how does that feel, Steve?
Yeah, and that's the reason why we didn't get why Kevin Garnett didn't get a championship, man. This all happened right around that same time where they lost all their draft picks and forfeited a bunch of.
They had nothing.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But we want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, this is a live stream that we do every Wednesday here at 8:30 Mountain Time ish. We'll get around to it sometime.
Yeah, schedule pending.
Yeah, we've got jobs, and families and stuff. It's kind of tricky. So we appreciate everybody who is showing up in the live stream and joining us every single week. It's been super awesome to be able to do both this channel and our main channel, DNA's Course Recap, at the same time. So again, jump in the comments, guys. If you're in the chat room right now, let us know your thoughts. Also, if you're watching this on our channel, Utah Jazz DNA, after the fact, jump in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are in regards to what we talked about this week. And also let us know if there's anything else you want us to talk about during the rest of the offseason here.
Yep, please do. It helps. That helps a lot, actually.
Yeah, it does. It's great. It's really fun to get to interact with you guys in there. All right. So again, folks, if you are watching this on Utah Jazz DNA, we will still be live on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, where we're going to be talking some Major League Baseball, some Utah football, and whatever sports thing we want to get to.
So if you're watching on Utah Jazz DNA, jump over to DNA Sports Recap. That's where we'll be at next.
Yep. All right.
Thanks for watching. We'd like to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to Utah Jazz DNA if this is the type of content that you enjoy. While you're down there, smash that like button for your boy Darren.
That's right. All right. We're back.
I forgot to change the color. I was just watching the magic happen.
We're just watching the magic happen. Don't worry about it. We're going to go ahead and jump in. We're going to change the color over, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into it, AJ. Let's talk some Utes football.
Let's do it. Before we get into the content, we'd like to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to Utah Football DNA. Make sure you smash that like button for your boy Darren.
That's right. All right, AJ. Well, the exercise in futility continues. We've had our first AP poll released that came out this week. And I have to say, man, I am pleasantly surprised to see that Utah got a bid. Got a bit of a nod there. We are seeing Utah ranked as the 21st team in the top 25 prior to the start of the season. I got to say, I was expecting them to be closer to the number 25, or even being on the outside looking in to start the season. So I think this is quite good for a team that's replaced the head coach, both coordinators during the offseason. I mean, what are your thoughts on Utah making it to 21 out of the top 25?
I mean, I think this shows a ton of respect to Utah. I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, like you mentioned kind of in a previous episode, this team does have a new head coach, or actually, like you just mentioned, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. These guys are all new to their role, right? So this team, as it currently sits, is relatively unknown for what they're going to look like. But what all of these AP voters do know is the brand of Utah football. So they know that Morgan Scalley will continue to coach guys to be physical, and really just play up to that Utah standard. They're going to continue being RSNB, right? Relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. Yeah, I'm not upset at all to be 21 in the preseason AP. I mean, we all know rankings don't matter until the CFP rankings come out, but I think this shows that the press kind of had a ton of faith in Utah and the team that they'll be. So, I mean, as Utah fans, we have a really good feeling that Devin Dampier, Bird Ficklin, they're going to keep pushing this offense up the field. The defense will be as good as ever. They're going to keep doing all the Utah football things. So this is, this doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I think this is, I'm okay with where the Utes landed at 21 in this first AP poll.
Yeah. I'm actually, I think like you said, it's just a nice sign of respect from the voters, from the Associated Press to really kind of put us in that position. I think that was great. Tons of respect. You got to love it, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to that 21st position, we'll talk about it a little bit more in our next subject here. Anything else you want to say on this subject as far as that goes? Are you ready to?
I think it's just I think this is really interesting because Utah is. It's like they're the team from last year that everyone had really high hopes. You know what I mean? Kyle Whittingham was in the press quite a bit saying how he couldn't leave on the way the season ended. The Utes came out, had a really strong season, lost a couple of tough ones. The only games they needed to win last year were the games they lost. They could have lost 2 other games and they'd have still been in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's really important that we look at where this team was last year, and I guess I have a ton of faith that they can build on what they had last year, and I think they can. I think it'll be a couple of weeks before Utah's like top 15. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Yeah. Well, there's a few things on that, man. Like I said, as far as it goes, there's a ton of respect that's made there to put us in the top 25, as well as having us as high as 21, which I think is very respectful. Again, even though it is a sign of respect, there is some backing to that, right? I mean, while we did have some turnover when it comes to the coordinators and head coach, it's not like they were all from outside the program, right? There's a lot of internal guys that basically just got moved into new roles, a lot of return talent. again, this is to me the whole concept of preseason rankings and way too early predictions. You're not going to really know anything about this team until 3 or 4 weeks into the season. So I do think this is all just an exercise in futility, but I do think it does show us a ton of respect, and we'll get into the rest of the rankings here coming up soon. Yeah, we want to hear from you folks. What your thoughts are in the comments down below. Jump in the chat. Let us know what your thoughts are. What do you think about the Utah Utes being ranked 21st in? Oh, where do we go there? Where do you think you're messing with me, dude.
I'm looking at all kinds of stuff. It's messing Darren all up.
Let us know what you think. Do you think the number 21 ranking was a good ranking for the AP poll right out the gates? We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm not sure if that comment from Greg is about the Utes. I think that's about the Jazz. Greg, let us know. We have a comment here from Greg. Let's jump into that one, though. I do think that the number 21 ranking is fine. Preseason rankings mean super little. We want to. It's a good thing, though. It does mean something. Jeez, it means nothing. And as long as
at least we start the season with a number by our name.
That is very, very true. Very, very true. You like it. You love it. You love to see it. But speaking of which, AJ, having a number next to our name. Let's go ahead and break down the top 10, shall we?
In the AP, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll go in order. We got the number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Oregon. Number 3, Georgia. We got number 4, Notre Dame. Interesting. Number 5, Texas. Number 6, Indiana. 7, Miami. 8, Texas A&M. 9, Ole Miss. And 10, Oklahoma. Can't help to notice, AJ, but I don't think that we see a Big 12 team in the top 10. What are your thoughts on this?
So I think this is pretty interesting, especially considering we had a Texas Tech team, come out of the Big 12 last year, make the college football playoff, really knocked down everybody that was put in front of them, played really tough, hard-nosed football the whole year. I don't think this, as much as it looks like this could very well be taken as a slight to the Big 12, I don't know if this is a slight to the Big 12 as much as it is a slight directly to Texas Tech.
That's kind of where I was thinking. Oh, man. Nice. I like it.
I think it tells you that, the AP voters don't have a ton of faith in their quarterback situation. Losing Brendan Sorsby in the offseason really hurt their chances for being as good as they were last year, right? Like they had a quarterback, they had a backup quarterback. Now they're relying purely on their backup quarterback from last year to, kind of roll them through an easier Big 12 schedule, but it's still going to be a tough college football year. You know what I mean? And injuries happen. This is going to be really tough for Texas Tech. So I don't think Texas Tech will be bad by any means, but I think it shows you that, the AP, they're going to want to see what these guys bring to the table right out the gate, right? Like, are they going to show up and have an explosive offense? Is their defense going to be as good as it was last year? There's a lot of things that a lot of these voters are going to want to see right out the gate to see that Texas Tech's as big of a deal as they kind of initially thought.
Yeah, and what I really like about that also is that we talked about this quite a bit, how BYU and Utah schedule, they don't have to play Texas Tech, and that's, making their schedules relatively easy. But you also got to flip it around the other way. Texas Tech doesn't play the other 2 best teams in the conference.
Yeah.
They're not playing. I think their toughest opponent is Arizona, right?
But the Big 12 did that by design. You know what I mean? I sincerely think they did that by design.
Okay.
They want 3 teams that could potentially have 1 loss that could crowd up that top 20
and force the situation at multiple teams
and just force it. You know what I mean? All the way through. And we did a video last week on, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago on the most important Holy War, because we think how much implications that Utah versus BYU game really does have.
It has been a long week for you. That was last week.
It was last week.
Yeah,
it's been a crazy long week. Yeah, but I mean, I think it's kind of the same deal for BYU and Utah, though. I mean, I think both of their rankings kind of show that the AP wants to see something from both of these teams. Like the last season hype is only going to get you so far, and then preseason hype can only get you a little bit further.
Right.
So at this point, they've got to put it out on the field, make sure that they can do all the things that kind of as advertised, but I think with a couple of good solid wins early in the season for both of these teams, and really even for BYU, a quality loss, even if they lose that game to Notre Dame, if it's a nice tight close game, which it's guaranteed to be. Being that it's at LaVell Edwards Stadium, like
right.
BYU's got a chance in that game for sure. No matter, it doesn't matter what numbers by Notre Dame.
Yeah,
BYU's going to come and play it. So,
and we've talked about it last week too. Notre Dame always, blows a game early in the season, which kind of
Absolutely.
wrecks their season, and it could easily be BYU. It's a tough place to play. Yeah, and I think it's interesting that they are number 4, not number 5, as comparative to the coaches poll.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that those two are switched. So the AP is giving Notre Dame a little bit more of a nod there. You got BYU at the 14-15 spot, and Texas Tech is at 12. So our highest team in the conference is ranked at 12. Obviously, Utah at 21. Houston is at 23. Got to say, man, it felt good to have at least one Utah team ranked above another team. And I think you know where I'm going with this one.
I do. I'm pretty sure it's probably BYU ranked ahead of Alabama.
No, BYU ranked ahead of Michigan.
Oh, against Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. BYU is ranked above Michigan, which is something you'd love to see. It's one spot above it. So BYU is in that 14-15 slot. I believe Michigan is at the 16. So glad to see that. Again, no ill will to,
Coach Witt, no.
Coach Witt, not at all. But again, he's now in a different conference. He's now the enemy. I wish him all the best, but we definitely need to make sure that we're, seeing that Big 12 teams be ranked ahead of that.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to see. I really think that you're right on that, man. I don't think necessarily it is a complete slide. I know it could be read that way, but I think you're spot on that on your analysis there. It's more of a knock towards Texas Tech than it is anything. And also, I just think that we're just going to be in a position where they want to see us earn our spots. I just think that's it.
Yeah. I think it's really nice to see how much kind of college football has leveled out. I mean, as much as NIL has kind of hurt this league because of some of the imbalance in NIL, it has leveled the playing field a ton, right? I mean, you look at, there was 5 teams that received first place votes in the AP polls, which is, I mean, kind of crazy. You look back in previous years and you're talking 2 to 3 teams max to receive first place votes. And the voting is still very SEC heavy for the AP top 10, right? You got 5 teams in the top 10, you got 3 teams from the Big 10, and then 1 ACC team in Miami, and then Notre Dame as the independent. So, but if you take it out of the top 15, you look at, you got 2 teams in the Big 12 in the top 15. So I think it's really nice to see that there's a lot of chance and a lot of opportunity for a lot of these teams to come in with some of these preseason rankings, whether they're AP voters or not. A lot of teams are going to have a chance to go out and show that they can kind of compete for some of these early positions and keep winning. And, we just hope the SEC makes a mess themselves, and so does the Big 10.
Yeah, beat each other up, man. Beat each other up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely love to see it, man. You love to see it. It's going to be good. We're going to follow these rankings there, again, just like everybody else who's following college football before the season starts. Gosh, it's 2 weeks?
2 weeks away. Yeah.
2 weeks away from kickoff?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so Utah
very
versus
exciting.
Idaho. Super exciting. And then when they play a real team the next week, it'll be nice. No offense, Idaho. Love you guys. Yeah, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We want to know what your thoughts are when it comes to the schedule, with AP rankings. Again, no Big 12 team in the top 10. We'd love to hear your feedback on that. Got another comment here from Greg Hawkins saying, I don't know what to make of this team yet. Way too many unknowns. Hoping for the best, though. Yeah, I'm kind of there with you a little bit on that for sure. A lot of unknowns, but also again enough familiarity to where again it keeps you like, well, it still could be good. Just enough
familiarity to kind of keep it in the front of your mind, right? Like, we got Devin Dampier, we got some key returning players on defense. It's just enough familiarity to kind of keep it relevant, to keep this team at the front of your mind. It's a really exciting time. Because I really hope that the Morgan Scally era kind of starts with a bang. They get out there and throw the ball up the field more than we've ever seen over the last 20 years of the Kyle Whittingham era. I mean, the time is now, and we've got an offensive coordinator that's going to play to his players' strengths. I'm just staying positive. You know what I mean? Like, I really think this team can be really good. So,
the ever optimistic Utah fan.
That's what I do here.
That's what he does here. Yeah. Everywhere. Just so you know. If you ever hang out with this dude, it's quite obvious. Again, folks, we want to hear from you.
Everything, though. For the record, I am optimistic about everything. Okay, it's not just sports.
You love it. That's why the show works so much. I'm more doom and gloom. You're more.
You're way more doom and gloom than me. You're just like, nope, the sky's falling. Go ahead and shut her down. We can
shut it down.
Flip the desk over. We're shutting down the podcast. Exactly. This team sucks.
Love it. Again, folks, jump in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on everything we talked about. We do this show live every Wednesday at 8:30 Mountain Time. So if you're watching this on our channel, Utah Football DNA, after the fact. Make sure you join us if you can. If you're listening to this audio on the podcast, rate and review would be greatly helpful. And join us live every Wednesday, 8:30 Mountain.
Do it.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk some Major League Baseball.
Let's do it.
But first, before we get into the content, folks, we'd like to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to Major League DNA and make sure you smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Do it.
AJ, I just watched Alex Vesia blow a lead in Coors Field. Oh my gosh.
That's rough, man.
It's rough.
That's rough business being a Dodgers fan.
It really is. It really is, AJ. Sitting here with my 2024 World Series championship hat. It really is. I think my 2025 is over here somewhere too.
Where's my 2021 World Series? I don't have one.
Yeah. Didn't you say you don't get to count that one because you weren't necessarily watching?
That doesn't matter. I'm a Braves fan now.
Okay. You're counting. You were telling me that you don't really get to rep it because you weren't watching the games.
You know, so. I'm over it now. I've got enough invested. It's pretty much the same team.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, after watching that, AJ, I just got to ask you one question, man. Are the Dodgers cooked?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know. We've had the big thing is we've had multiple conversations, right? And I think a lot of our conversations about Dodgers.
That is just hard-hitting sports analysis right there. I love that. Oh, yeah. No. I don't know. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, dude.
You guys are welcome for my fine assessment of if the Dodgers are cooked. But I mean, a lot of the conversation based around it is like, how long can these guys keep it up, right? They aren't getting any younger. And like you start breaking it down, and some of these players that this team is counting on to really play well and, you know, invest the money that they've invested into this, they're either right in their prime or, you know, maybe sliding past their prime just a little bit. And then you go and look at some of the ages, and, you know, Shohei Ohtani's 32. That's great age, right in prime. You know, Mookie Betts is the same thing. Freddie Freeman at 36 is your tail end of your prime, right? You're probably a little past your prime at 36. You know, Teoscar's 33, Max Muncy's 35, Blake Snell's 33, Tommy Edman. Is it Tommy Edman?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I knew everyone besides that one. All of a sudden I got scared. He's 31. So, I mean, you're not going to worry so much about, you know, Roki Sasaki or, you know, Yamamoto. Those guys are 24, 27. But I don't know, man. What are your thoughts? Do you think this team's going to be too old to compete for the foreseeable future?
Oh, man, it's going to be interesting, dude. Let's go ahead and start with Mookie, right? 33. You mentioned him in there, right? 33
yeah, absolutely,
years old. Yeah. So 13 years in the league, first full year at short, and again at age 33. His OPS plus is below average at 92. Age definitely is a factor here. You don't switch to the most demanding position on the field outside of catcher and not have that catch up to you and not have that impact you. His average WAR is 7.7 since 2024. It has been under 5. So there is definitely a decline in his game for sure. Father Time is undefeated. He definitely is going to be one of those guys that you're going to see some issues there with. Last year was the first year that we didn't see him in the postseason since 2022 perform. He didn't play well in last year's postseason. And again, he was playing at short. So seems to me that there needs to be a move back to second base or somewhere where it's less strenuous, in my opinion. He's been great defensively, but his bat has just disappeared ever since he's moved over to that position. Lightening his load on the defensive end may prolong his career and keep him as a legit player in his prime, like you mentioned, for a little bit longer. Freddie Freeman, he's 36, will be 37 by the time the postseason starts. You look at his stats and you think, okay, well, Freddie Freeman's playing great, right? OPS plus of 133. His average is 302, right? Why are you saying Freddie Freeman's, getting past? Well, here's the thing. The power's just not there, dude. It is just not there.
He's become more of a contact hitter.
Yeah. Home runs, doubles, all down. Before the Rocky series, he almost went a month without an extra base hit.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. So batting 302, but all singles, dude. All singles. He's 36, but with that ankle, he's playing more like 46. So you should see him when he has to make a quick pivot play. You can time it with a sundial. It's just ridiculous. He still is ranked number 1 in fielding percentage in the National League.
Did you just say that? Yeah. You can time it with a sundial.
Yeah. It's not even in my notes. But yeah, so again, he is leading the league in field goal percentage in the National League, which is quite interesting. AJ, brownie points. Can you name the other two first baggers that are next to him, number 2 and number 3, as far as first base fielding percentages? Go.
First base fielding percentages?
Yep. Number 1 is Freddie Freeman. Who's number 2?
Matt Olson.
No.
Damn it.
He's number 3. Who's number 2? You're never going to get this. So I don't know why I'm asking. Greg Hawkins, Channel Legend. Jump in, buddy. Let's hear it. It's actually going to be Michael Busch, first baseman.
You're correct. I would not have gotten that.
Yeah. Former Dodger, by the way. Dodger prospect.
How did I do with Matt Olson, though?
Pretty good. Good. That's literally probably the only first baseman you know the first name of other than Freddie Freeman, but that's okay.
That is correct. That is correct.
Teo's been getting worse every single year since he signed his new contract. He's actually been trying more to it's not necessarily that he's getting bad, but he's also not putting in a whole lot of effort. I think he's more trying to not get injured versus, just simply it being age is the issue.
That's where we're at now. We're like, if I can just not get hurt and play the whole season, I should be fine.
Yeah, well, he has missed like 50 games a year every single year since coming to the Dodgers. So I do see him kind of doing that, like lightening it up a little bit to make sure that he's not doing it. Now the Dodgers lost 8 in a row prior to the start of 2024. Right. This is something we hear quite a bit, right? This happens to the Dodgers every single year. It happened last year, 8 in a row towards the end of the 2024 season. They lost the series season to the Brewers again this year, but it's not a big deal because they got swept by them before going to the postseason last year. I know, right?
Yeah.
But this year just feels different, AJ. I wouldn't be as worried about this if our quote-unquote young players like Tucker, like if his struggles weren't there and the bullpen wasn't terrible, this wouldn't be such a big deal. It just really feels different, and I think it's a fair statement to say that this team is getting a bit long in the tooth. They have the oldest position player group in Major League Baseball, and we'll see if they can turn it on in the postseason once again. But I don't know, man. It just feels different. I don't see Snell and Yamamoto competing against each other for a complete game in the postseason this year. I don't see Shohei Ohtani going 7 innings without giving up a run while striking out 10 and hitting 3 home runs in a single game. By the way, I don't think people talk about that game nearly enough. When he pitched against the Brewers, 7 innings, no earned runs, striking out 10 and hitting 3 home runs, all in the same game.
Who was that?
Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
How is that not the greatest performance in baseball history? Why is his other game against Miami in the regular season considered a higher? I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
That is pretty interesting.
Yeah. And, don't get me started on Kyle Tucker, right? I mean, this guy literally, is just doing everything he can. He plays fine on the road, but once he's at home, it's really, really tough.
He doesn't like L.A.
He actually does well in L.A. when he's not on the Dodgers. He has a career batting percentage of like 280 in Dodger Stadium when he's not on the team.
Right.
So there's just, for me, it is quite obvious that this team is getting older, and everybody will come in and say, oh, well, the Dodgers will just turn it on when it comes close to the postseason. At some point, that's not going to work anymore. You're starting to see all 3 of their main core start to deteriorate a little bit. Ohtani is not performing at his normal level. Still a front runner for an MVP next to PCA. People are like, oh my gosh, why are you even talking about that? Like, how is Shohei falling off? And you're like, well, when it comes to Shohei, it's not really Shohei-esque, So there's a lot of that. And there's, again, just the bullpen is very, very shaky and also very, very old. I think it's a fair assessment for anybody who's watching Dodger baseball to look at this team and think maybe they aren't getting a little too old.
Yeah.
A little scary.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's still a scary team for the next 1 to 2 seasons. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys are still in, at least on tail end of their prime years. You know what I mean? But the problem is it's not like they're under contract for 2 more years. A lot of these guys are under contract for the next 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, and they have over $1 billion dedicated to them after the fact too.
Yeah. So it's like they're getting paid the rest of their life to be a Dodger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be tough, right? Tough life.
I mean, it's putting all the chips in the middle. We've said it plenty of times on this show. Like, the Dodgers are putting all the chips in the middle to win now, and getting players that they think can help them win now. And as long as you win now, no one's going to care.
Right.
But if the Dodgers miss, and misstep and don't win, this year where everyone's like, well, look at everything that they've spent on, here comes the onslaught.
Right.
That's when you as a Dodgers fan's really going to, because ain't nobody can say shit right now, right? Like you can talk about it all you want, but you can say the Dodgers did this and that, but they've also won the last 2 World Series. So there's nobody has any skin in the game. So at this point, as long as they win, they're fine. If they don't win, that's when you as a Dodgers fan's going to hear it.
Oh yeah, got to put it all into exactly. Put it all in there to three-peat.
Yeah,
right? Doesn't matter you won back to back. If you don't three-peat, then you got that waste. All that money was wasteful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue that Mookie's contract already paid for itself when they won the 2020 and the 2024 World Series. I think Mookie's contract paid for itself after that.
Right, you got it.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers were the first team in baseball history to earn $1 billion in 1 year.
That's insanity, dude.
So in 1 year, they pay for Shohei Ohtani's deferred contract.
Yeah.
And then with interest, right? So like it's really funny when you think about it, but in all reality, yeah, you want them to win it. You want them to three-peat. You want them to hit it down.
You do.
Or else,
I don't.
Or else it's almost all this spending is, not really worth it, right? So
yeah.
You mortgage your future, and they're going to continue to do it. They're going to continue to do it. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What do you think about the Dodgers? Are they getting too old? We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are. We got, known Yamamoto needs some time off. Yeah, this guy's literally been pitching for like 5 years straight. It's absolutely insane.
Scroll up.
We got
good questions here.
Yeah. So is this in our next subject though?
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll get back.
Yeah, we're going to get to the Walter conversation for sure.
Got this comment here from Greg Hawkins, Kyle Tucker. LOL. Yeah, I think we just traded like the worst players on our team, and we just, the Cubs gave us Kyle Tucker, we gave him Michael Conforto. So yeah. Except, we only paid Conforto $16 million, not $60 million. The Dodgers have 3.
Maybe they misheard it on the phone.
Maybe they heard it. I think that's probably it. The contract was just signed weird, right? Dodgers have like the second or third best record in baseball, and Darren is concerned about the team. It's a fair statement there, Greg, but honestly, if you're watching the Dodger games, you know where my concern's coming from. And yes, it actually is the third best record in Major League Baseball, because right now the Brewers and the Rays have a better record than they are. And if they do not pull their what's had themselves here in Colorado, that's not going to do any better for sure. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We also have another comment here from a friend of the channel, Temmie Price. Tucker is in his head. Yeah, I definitely agree, man. I think Eric Karros says a lot of things on the broadcast, which I don't really agree with. Savant on the pitch challenge, though. By the way, he's got it down to a science. But I think he needs a blow, dude. I think he needs to take a couple days off, fake an injury, and go down to Arizona. Like Karros said, and just work something out. Try and figure it out, because again, we
maybe just not play baseball for a couple of days.
We only care, pull an Aegon. Adrian Gonzalez did that for the Dodgers once when his swing wasn't right, sat for 3 or 4 games, and then came back and crushed it. So
I thought you said pull an Akon, like the rapper.
No,
like Akon and Young Jeezy.
Sing AJ.
Yeah.
Sultry voice.
That guy.
Keep going. But yeah, no, it's I think it would benefit him. But honestly, again, as long as he can fix it before the playoffs. Again, like I told you before we went live last week, spring training is really long for a Dodger fan.
Yeah.
It really is. All right, so let's go ahead and move in to the next subject we want to talk about, AJ. Let's go ahead and talk about, oh gosh, I'm on the wrong page here on our other thing here.
What is going on?
Yeah.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, so you guys want to talk Mark Walters. Let's go ahead and talk Mark Walters. Let's go ahead and hit these comments real quick. Do you want to do that first?
Yeah, because those are some nice questions that lead us in.
Yeah, so we got this one here from McKinley Cutler. I'm kind of wondering what the Walter situation mind forced. What?
Kind of wondering if this Walter situation might force the MLB to trade a lot of rules around contracts. I mean, they have so much of these contracts deferred. What happens if Walters can't pay? And then who ends up holding the bag and gets screwed if the Dodgers and Walter default or can't pay out the deferred player contracts?
Great question. So we'll start here. Walters only owns 15% of the team personally. The rest of it is owned by the Guggenheim Group. The Guggenheim Group has set aside the funds. Again, they just made $1 billion last year alone, so they are one of the most profitable teams in Major League Baseball. and they do have to sandbag that money. They're not allowed just to have it sit and just say, oh, yeah, don't worry, we got it, we'll pay for it. Anytime you defer money, you have to have that money.
You've got to show that it's available in a bank account.
Escrow.
Yeah.
It's got to be in escrow. So that money is there already. They don't have access to it. They can't touch it. That money is just deferred, right? So those deferred contracts are going to be paid out just fine. Again, if he has to sell his percentage of it, which, again, we'll get into here in a minute, whether or not that happens or not, it's not going to impact this team because, again, the Guggenheim Group itself owns it, not just Mark Walters.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's break down a little bit about the Mark Walter situation for you guys that don't know. Billionaire Mark Walter, who is the CEO of Guggenheim Partners and also one of the owners of the Dodgers, or the primary owner of the Dodgers, right? Mm-hmm. He is currently under investigation for federal loan fraud with the Department of Justice and the SEC. He was allegedly funneling undisclosed related party insurance funds into his other sports and business ventures. So little timeline. Last September, federal agents seized Walter's cell phone and laptop. And then in February...
Wait, hold on that one for a second. Did you hear how it happened?
No.
They went on the plane. The FBI raided his plane and took his laptop and phone.
That's actually legendary, dude. How would that be? You're like, and I'm sure it's his plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, excuse me, we need to borrow this for like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
I gotta say, it's kind of a baller move when you have your own private jet and then the FBI raids your jet. That's puts you on a whole new level of baller status, in my opinion.
It's kind of true. I mean, I hate to say it,
but
it is kind of true.
Anyway, what were you saying there?
Anyways, so then in February, Walters Insurance Companies received a federal grand jury subpoenas, and then more recently, he sells the Lakers in a pretty sudden multi-billion-dollar transaction. And now it is rumored that he may be selling his stake in the English Premier League soccer club Chelsea FC. So this is all kind of happening and swirling really fast. But my question for you, Senor Dodgers fan, is what does this mean for the Dodgers with all of this happening around Mark Walter?
Yeah. So it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to affect the Dodgers really at all. Right? This is an ownership issue. This is something. Okay. So Walter buys the Dodgers, right? And the problem is that he gave himself a loan to do that. So if he needs, so the reason why this is an issue is if you are the borrower and the lender, the pressure to pay isn't there. You can just say, okay, I'll pay whatever I want to pay it, and you're gonna be like, I'm good. I'll pay myself whenever I want to pay myself, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the attitude you're gonna have in general when it comes to that, right? But so he does that. He gets a loan. Now the lender, he's the borrower and the lender, and this is actually all above board at first when he acquired the Dodgers, right? Regulators okayed the deal when it happened. He actually showed us the regulators. They okayed the deal. The rule was you don't, now don't quote me on this because I'm not a financial expert. I don't have anything on like.
Not a financial advice channel.
Exactly. But the way I understood it, and after reading way too much about it, is that when you're in this type of situation, when you're the borrower and a lender, and you are also levying on an insurance company that issues loans, you do not want to have less than 10% of your loans be to yourself and to your own company's self-interest. It needs to stay below 10%. So when he did that with the Dodgers, that was all above board. Everything was okay then. Well, then he kind of got a little carried away after that. WNBA, he bought the Sparks. Then he also did Chelsea and Strasbourg as well, both European soccer teams that one of them mentioned before. Also, an entire women's pro hockey team, hockey league. The WL, I can't remember the exact acronym there, but that entire female hockey league that's actually doing quite well. First 3 years in. But he owns the league, not just the teams, but the league itself, because the league owns the teams. So very interesting there. He also owns his own Cadillac F1 team. And then again, obviously last year bought the Lakers. Did this every single time. Now it looks like he's almost got $40 billion in loans out to himself to buy these companies, to buy these teams. So definitely over that 10% threshold. So he did sell the Lakers, and it's clear that this was in a move to get ahead of that, because, there's a few things that's kind of obvious about that. You don't send your entire Dodger front office into the Lakers and retool their entire thing if you're only going to own it for 9 months. You plan on selling it.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't retool everything, hence to McKinley's comment earlier before the show about, freezing everything because they were going in. So now there's a mess there now for sure. So there definitely wasn't a plan to do this. I think this federal investigation did rush that. Special thanks to the NBA for making it so expensive to buy an expansion team that Bob Iger, Disney, and the good Kushner brother, whatever that means, were willing to pay $12 billion for the Lakers because the expansion team in Vegas is going to cost $10 billion. So might as well pay another $2 billion to get the Lakers.
Yeah.
Right. So he made 2 point something billion off of that deal. Again, he's going to be selling Chelsea. There's tons of other assets that he's going to sell before he ever sells the Dodgers. He's mentioned that is something that he's not going to do. He's going to keep the Dodgers. So I don't think this is going to impact the team, primarily because the one domino that if he did sell that would cause a problem for the Dodgers would be Shohei Ohtani gets an opt-out. If Walters sells the team, he gets to opt out of his contract.
Really?
His contract says as long as Freddie Freeman.
I like that too.
That's a good one. As long as Mark Walters is controlling owner, as long as Andrew Friedman is the general manager of the team, I will honor this contract. But if either one of those two leave, I get an opt out. So he actually can. He actually went on record saying that if Walters is forced to sell his section of the team, his portion of the team, he will not opt out of his contract. So,
as long as he's not forced to sell it,
if he is, he still won't opt out.
Oh, okay.
So, we're good there.
Okay.
The only thing I would really be worried about if he did have to sell his portion, I don't think it's going to affect the Dodgers at all. Again, because the majority of it's still owned by the Guggenheim Group and some other minority owners in there as well. So I don't think it's really going to affect the team at all. Trust me, there's plenty of people to be willing to buy a stake 15% of the Dodgers. So
yeah,
not going to be an issue.
Not going to be any issues there.
Yeah, not going to be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so we'd love to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to this. Do you see this being an issue for the Dodgers going forward? This situation will get messier before it gets cleaner. There's definitely some fun stuff that you can tie together when it comes to this kind of thing.
And there's more coming too.
Oh, yeah. He's under federal indictment before they go visit the White House. And when he visits the White House, he's the only owner in baseball history to give the president a championship ring too. You don't think that was on purpose?
Yeah. He's like, hey.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey.
Just wanted to let you know I got this for you as well.
I got this for you. Not just the jersey, but this too. This nice ring. This is for you. No president has ever gotten this. Trump loves that kind of shit, right?
Oh.
So, just saying.
You know it.
The power of the pardon is real. We'll see what happens there. But yeah. You got anything else on baseball you want to talk about?
I do.
All right. Let's talk about it.
You see exactly what it is.
I didn't read it.
Oh,
just want to make sure we're not looking at this.
How about the Brewers 22-0 against Seattle?
Oh my gosh, dude!
Dude, what an absolute massacre!
Going into the fourth inning, this looked like a pitcher's duel.
Through the fourth inning, it was a 1-0 game, dude.
So crazy.
1-0. So this is that game was tied for the largest shutout win dating back to 1887.
Wow, that's nuts, dude. That's absolutely nuts. Shutout win. I don't know if anybody else got a chance to catch that, dude. That poor position player that got left out there to give up 8 runs.
They just sat there and rocked him too, dude. There no mercy.
Yeah,
they're like, no, I mean you're pitching. I'm gonna hit it.
Did you see the umpire calling obvious balls that were way up? He's like, strike.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, I want to go home too.
Strike. Yeah, at some point this is getting ridiculous. So the Brewers ended up with 22 runs on 22 hits. That's a nice, clean stat line.
Nice, clean stat line. Only in baseball, man. Only in baseball. How romantic is that?
Dude, it was just wild, dude. I saw that and I was like, what happened, Seattle?
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't even muster one run. Not even one.
Not only that, I think it was Castillo that was pitching.
Yeah.
And he's good, right? But he wasn't good for Seattle. So
maybe they just didn't know what to do, man.
No, sorry. He plays with the White Sox. Sorry. Yeah, I just think that's interesting, man. It was a crazy, crazy game. And if you get a chance to watch the highlights of it, watch it. It's just, you're like, what in the heck is going on here? There was a couple plays there where you're just like, this game could have been over much sooner.
Did you see the center fielder?
Yeah.
Top of the 8th?
Yeah, I think I know what the play you're talking about.
Yeah, he catches it the second out and throws the ball into the stands with the bases loaded.
Yep. So,
you idiot,
so
dude.
for those of you who don't know baseball, once you catch the ball, it is considered a dead ball. You throw it back in. But if you throw it out of bounds, all batters get to advance one more space. because it's out of the field of play. And so if you don't think that that's the third out, you basically just want to make sure you hold on to the ball just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, not a bad idea. He caught it in center field and threw it into the stands.
Not a bad idea. We got a couple more comments here from McKinley on the Mark Walters thing. I mean, Walters is the CEO of the Guggenheim Partners, and with all the shady stuff he is accused of doing, it wouldn't be surprising if he's to empty those accounts. Yeah, like I said, it's not like there's not a slew of people who wouldn't jump at the chance of buying his controlled portion.
Yeah,
plus,
absolutely.
The Dodgers, they've got a lot of deferred money, absolutely. But again, with their TV contract with Sportsnet LA, there's just in the market making $1 billion last year. I don't see there really being an issue of wanting to sell the team. If anything, the San Diego,
as long as he's not forced to sell the team, right? As long as they say that everything that we found isn't egregious, you weren't doing something crazy.
Even if it was egregious, I mean, these billionaires, they play by their own rules too, right? It's one of those things that we talked about it earlier with the Clippers. What is with the city of LA and their billionaires? Seriously.
It happens.
But I see it being something similar like that, right? Yeah. He said, okay, look, I thought it was 10%. It's at 40% of my loans are going to be, I'm in billions. I'll pay it all back. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it. I'll pay the fines. Do whatever you need to do. The only thing I can see, if they forced him to, I don't think that's going to be likely. I think he can come with the money to pay it all back, but I also don't think he's going to be forced to sell the Dodgers. If he is, that would just be kind of messed up because there's a whole bunch of other things that are happening in professional sports where they haven't been forced to sell the team. And if that's what you have to do to be forced to sell the team, and then I need to see Steve Ballmer sell the Clippers, I need to see a whole slew of other stuff. I mean, obviously, Fisher needs to sell the A's. If we start regulating that kind of stuff, then there's pretty much going to be no team owned in Major League Baseball.
Right. That's how most billionaires operate, right?
Yeah.
They have controlling shares in a company, and they use those shares to purchase something else and make their empire, their massive empire, a little bit more massive.
Yeah. I also think it's kind of weird that it might be a subject for another time because we're getting a little long on the tooth on this one, but how difficult is it with these team evaluations now? How impossible is it for any one person to own a team? Yeah. It almost has to be an entire investment group or a conglomerate or private equity to own any sports team.
Yeah, you're just a majority owner.
Yeah, you got billions of dollars you have to buy these teams for, and who's going to leverage that out? So it's quite interesting. He's been touching and or loaning himself money that he wasn't supposed to touch. Yeah, again, that would be a violation, right? So definitely true. Like I said, he's not squeaky clean in this, and again, no billionaire really is when it comes to these kind of things. And did he get a little drunk on his own power? Absolutely. Is this going to come back to bite him in the you know what? Absolutely. I just don't think it's affecting the Dodgers too much. I just don't see it happening.
Right.
I mean, he didn't plan to sell the Lakers either. Also, I wouldn't be so sure if he won't sell his Dodgers shares according to the reports. He's asking everyone he knows for quick loans. Yeah, I saw that too. He will get, like I said, he will get desperate if he has to sell the Dodgers. He will, but that's like the last ditch effort for him, and I just don't see it happening unless he's being forced to by the federal regulators. If the investigation comes back and he's forced to sell,
or they find out that it was done above board, right? Like that's
it's not done above board. I mean, I think it's pretty quick, pretty obvious,
Well, the Dodgers one was though, right?
Yeah, the Dodgers owner was. So yeah, that might be shielded, right?
Yeah.
So hey, this one was done above board.
Yeah, that one was done within the 10%.
Yeah, we okayed this one, then everything after.
We okayed this one, but everything after, hey, you were pushing it, man. Like all the rules stay. This is where the lines are.
Yeah, and you broke those rules. So yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a lot of stuff that happens like that in our own state, which we're not going to go into. But where there's that kind of stuff happening, and people get creative with money and numbers, and it's just not real money to these people anymore. And yeah, I don't know. It would be unfortunate if a team like the Dodgers, who are basically the only team in baseball that is willing to do everything they possibly can to go all in, is going to be penalized because their ownership got a little creative with the books. I just think it would be kind of unfair.
Yeah.
It just sets a precedent that I don't think anybody wants to go down. I do have actually a random subject I want to talk about, AJ.
I'm ready.
So, AJ, we talk a lot on this show about pitching injuries on this channel.
Yes, we do.
What is the most dreaded one that we don't wish upon anybody, which is the UCL tear?
Yeah.
The UCL tear, that means the pitcher is having to go under a knife for
Tommy John.
That's right. Tommy John. Did you know he is an actual person?
Absolutely.
He's an actual person, 4-time All-Star.
He's not anymore.
Yeah. Burning the lead there. Tommy John, 4-year All-Star left-hander who became synonymous with one of the baseball's most important medical procedures there. He died at 83 this week. John enjoyed a remarkable 26-year major league career, AJ. Only Nolan Ryan had a longer pitching career than he did.
26 years?
26 years, winning 288 games, pitching for the Yankees, the White Sox, the Dodgers, the Indians, as well as some other clubs. He became the first player to ever go into the surgery in 1974. He suffered an elbow tear of the ligament and underwent an experimental procedure by Dodgers team physician, Dr. Frank Jobs. The operation restructured his urinary collateral ligament. And then after 18 months of recovery, John returned to pitch another 13 seasons in Major League Baseball. 164 games after his surgery, and was considered, which was normally considered career-ending injury prior to the creation of that surgery. Now, thousands of pitchers get this, and it's become synonymous with his name forever as Tommy John surgery. Yeah, Tommy John, man. Enjoy playing baseball up there with all the greats, man. R.I.P. there. Was a Dodger when this happened, when he got the surgery done, and saved a lot of pitchers' careers after that. Super cool.
It's really cool to see how fast, pitchers can come back from Tommy John. You hear that it was 18 months recovery time for him.
Yeah. In 1974.
Yeah, but pitchers are back from Tommy John in 6-7 months now?
I think they take a whole year off, yeah.
They take the season, right?
Yeah.
They'll take the season, but it's not like you're not losing 2 seasons over it anymore.
No, yeah, you're throwing. Yeah, you're throwing.
You're back throwing. You're back to it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just super cool, man, that it's lasted this long. And now with the brace surgery, the update of it, we're seeing pitchers be able to log. It's just really crazy to see. When I read that, 26-year career, 13 seasons after Tommy John surgery, after his own namesake surgery, which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time it was ever called. Yeah, it wasn't called that when he did it.
No, it's called unilateral, whatever that is. But crazy, right?
Yeah.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, we do this every week, Wednesday evening, 8:30 Mountain Time. We want to hear from you in the comments down below. If you're joining us live in the comments after the fact, jump in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on everything we talked about in Major League Baseball today and everything on Utah sports, as well as everything we talked about on DNA Sports Recap this week.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio.
With all that said, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.